Nintendo. The king of BMM. And if you don't know what that stands for bare minimum merchants, because they will give you the most bare minimum things and expect you to put 100% into getting them. Don't believe me right now? Let's give you a couple of examples. When the first Switch came out, it didn't come with an Ethernet port. You have to pay for a whole new Ethernet. You have to pay for a whole new dock to get an Ethernet cable connected. The second instance, you didn't have a GameCube controller. You didn't have a GameCube controller, or you had one from the previous past. You can't use it. You have to buy a new one specifically for the Switch. Nintendo have always been doing the bare minimum to retain their fans, like barely updating their roster of retro games. And if you're happy about the GameCube adjustment, expect there to be no adjustment whatsoever, or very little as the period goes on, because that's how it was for the Sega games, the Nintendo 64 games, so and so. Second to them being a BMM company, they're not the only ones. Blizzard are the same thing for Overwatch, and I don't need to go into why, because if I do, we're gonna be here for a long time. So I'm just gonna talk to you about all the things that went bad in the Nintendo Switch Direct, which if you haven't seen, I'm gonna run it down. Essentially, let's go actually, first and foremost, let's start with an overview. So essentially the Switch 2 is coming out in June, right? So 2 months. They showed you a lot of games, from Mario Kart to how the Switch works, what's new about the Switch, how the Switch's Joy-Cons are magnetic, how the power button is all new, how the resolution on the screen is good. Like, for example, the screen goes up to 1080p, but it has 120 FPS on the handheld itself. But when you put it into the console, put it into the dock on the TV that is supported with it, it will run at 4K 120 FPS, which is really good. And then you realize the price they're selling it for, which is $450. And keep in mind, the specs of this console are the same as a PS4 or Xbox One. So last gen, right? Last gen hardware, and they are charging $450. You're thinking, Wills, surely that's not that bad. Times are changing, inflation, yada, yada, yada. You know, prices go up and there's a demand for this, right? Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I want you to remember as well, it's not just the Switch games. You see that Mario Kart World game that looks cool, that has free roaming and all that stuff? You're paying $80. What is that in pounds? You're paying 75 pounds. If they don't even, that's just me converting it, and that's probably not even right. So there's that. You're paying that much just for Mario Kart. For the bare minimum of requirements. You now have voice chat as well, by the way, which is like a Discord chat, but no, I'm never going to talk about it. Anyway, it's really good. That is the price for it right now. But as I'm saying right now, there also is some good benefits. The Switch 2 can play a lot of the games that couldn't be played on Switch, so like Cyberpunk, Yakuza, and now they're getting their old Souls game, which is basically Bloodborne 2 if you ask me. It's exclusive to the Switch, which is a really promising title. From what we saw of the gameplay, it looked like it could be fun. It looks good. So anyway, we're gonna go to the bad bits about this now, and the bits that you'll be concerned about if you had watched it. Let's go. So the first thing I gotta really show you is the game chat. Game chat is essentially like your Discord or party chat, which has been in every existing thing until now, really, console until now. Switch has now finally joined the bandwagon. The second Switch, the first Switch, had one, but it was more like an app that you had to get on specific games. It sucked. You had to use your phone. Now they've implemented a feature where essentially you can use it on the Switch. Where you can use it. I need to find the right thing. But yeah, where you can use it on the actual console itself. So in this video here, you'll see. You will see, I'll show you now actually.
Nix, I'm coming for you.
No, I'm about to get
Come on, no.
Oh. Introducing Game Chat.
Yeah, you'll see the mic there.
While using the Game Chat feature, your voice is recognized by a microphone built into the system.
Oh, okay. But you're still behind me, right?
So yeah,
let's keep going. Okay.
that mic has noise cancelling, which means that you're able to witness it and see it through that it's able to hear you even if the room is noisy. I don't know how effective that's going to be when it actually comes to it, but yeah, You can do your standard stuff like screen share and stuff, but I want you to look at this. This is one of the most troubling bits.
There we go.
Look at the quality. Do you see it?
Screen.
Did you see someone just like go on top of that dinosaur?
Really?
They can do that?
Can do it? You guys, I just did it.
I wouldn't do
Look, see, look how his phone looks okay, because that's obviously his screen. But can you look at the bottom ones?
Okay, I got it.
There's an even clearer example to this, right?
Playing different games.
You can also stream your game. You can all play different games and watch yourself play different
I know
games.
that
It's a
one.
standard Discord thing, the standard. Except that all of you can now watch it at the same time. I'm not sure if the PlayStation does this because I don't really
size
use
of
party
your
chat
game
with
screen.
like sharing screens. But yeah,
That wall that's to your left. You're almost there.
It's just like the
look, this as well. You're sharing someone's screen, right?
above
Dog.
that.
Another friend's game screen.
Look,
You gotta get above.
why does it look like that? Why would you think this is appropriate to show it to your thingy? It is bugging. Her screen was at least 60
expand another
FPS,
friend's
yeah?
game
That's how
screen.
smooth it is. You look at this screen, there is a clear, significant
Wall
difference.
that's to your left.
It looks like it is lagging on their chat. This is an official trailer. That's the first thing on the Discord chat, right? That is the major problem. Outside of that, everything else looks cool, right? It has a C button when you want to start. You can have it plugged in and stuff. You can even use a camera, which you're going to have to pay for. But, you know, you can use your face camera in certain games like Mario Party and so, right? The camera comes with it too. But here's my grievance with this. You cannot use this without a membership. And I'm not joking. You need a Switch online membership to do the bare minimum. The bare minimum. Talking to people. Not to game share, or what they have as well. Not to game share or to even, you know, I can't think of another example to do with Nintendo because there's not, it's just simplistic. So, right, yes. You you have a laggy share screen, right? I hope it isn't like that in the actual launch and they just showed that because they didn't have time to actually do a proper recording. I hope there's a deadline so they didn't have the chance, right? I hope so. Because if not, that is ridiculous. And on top of that, it comes with a camera. It doesn't come with the camera, you gotta buy the camera separately. I wanna know what the price of the camera is, so hopefully we get to see it. But yes, that's the first one with the Discord chat thing. It's a cool feature. It's kind of bare bones in that sense, you know, mic off, mute, standard Discord stuff, sharing your screen. With 12 people, by the way, it doesn't say that, but you guys should do this with 12, you guys should do this with 12 people, which is actually a really good feat. The controller. We don't talk about the peripheral. We're going to talk about just the thingy. The Pro controller is $80? Oh my god. I didn't even know this. This is another thing. The normal controller is 50 for the Pro controller, right? Or 60. I got for 50. I'm speechless. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. We're looking for the camera. The camera is 50 fucking pounds. You need to pay 50 pounds just to talk on that camera. And the camera's specs aren't specified here, and I'm assuming for good reason. But yeah, it's 50 pounds to plug in the camera, and that looks fragile. It looks like a webcam camera. Ugh. Dear, oh dear. I didn't even look at the other accessories, but yeah, that's another thing about this that I didn't like was the game. This game is amazing. It looks cool, right? It has, you're essentially, if you don't already know, racing from one world to another. You're in one race. The minute you finish that race, the race isn't over. You're now racing to the next racetrack, and yeah, you're racing to the next racetrack and then racing again. And because of that, it's a bigger world. There's more places to explore. I'm assuming the world is very big, considering there is a free roam section for you to enter. You're racing across a world, which is really cool, right? It's vibrant, and it doesn't specify, but I'm sure they said in the game, on the trailer, 12 races in 12 races on one like car. On one thing. 24 unrubbing heated 24 races in the game, in the map. Or the game, same thing, you know what I'm saying? With different modes and different tools and different things that you can do to start. 24 races is a lot. You can free roam and drive wherever your heart takes you, take pictures with friends, you know, explore stuff, learn stuff, right? That is the only features this game possesses. Why in the f is it £80? $80? Why is it this price? There is no reason for a game that is purely going to be played for parties to be $80. Do you know what games on console are £80 or £80, $8 on PlayStation or even Xbox? None. The closest you'll get to is 70. And you know what, 70? Returnal was 70. That didn't do too well. Returnal was 70, right? Ratchet and Clank was 65, right? Fighting games, not one fighting game was above £60. Unless you got editions, multiple editions, right? Which are fair enough because they are multiple editions. They are charging a deluxe edition for the standard game. And I promise you, there is going to be DLC in this game. There is going to be DLC. And you know what they're charging you also to say you should get? You should get the accessories. Oh my gosh, look. Mario Kart and the Switch are £500. Or dollars, sorry. But £500, let's say, or $450 for us. But $500 is an insane price for a Switch and one game. You could have bought a PC with that. Sorry, not a PC, a laptop with that. It wouldn't have been a good laptop, but you could have bought a laptop for that price. You could have bought you could have bought two flipping headsets, VR headsets, Meta headsets, if you from that price. Two. And all you're getting is one game and Mario Kart World. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it's for old gen console. And you can also get the accessories, play like you're really driving, use these, right? Because all the accessories are new, which means you can't use any of your previous accessories from Switch 1. You have to buy new stuff. And guess how much these are? Because I want to know how much they are too. The Joy-Cons, oh my god. The Joy-Cons are $90. If you lose your Joy-Cons, you want two extra ones, you're paying $90 for... This is insane. The charging grip is 35. Does that not come with the Switch? Okay, hold on. Some of this stuff I gotta check. This is £20 for those two. That's probably like the most reasonable price you can give for that. And even then, that's too much. What I want to know actually, because since we're on the topic of this, what do you get with the Switch 2? I want to know what comes with the Switch 2. Because surely it can't be just the game. I want to know what comes with the Switch 2. You're getting the bare minimum of the Switch when you buy it. You're getting the Switch, the Switch itself, the Joy-Cons. I don't think you even get that. If you get that, you should get that because the original Switch came with it. So I'm assuming you get that too. And that's it. Not a lot for $450. You have no games, but you know, hey, you've got a Switch too, right? My gosh. This is someone's paycheck. Well, it's a very low paycheck, but this is someone's paycheck, bro. Anyway, next thing we're going to talk about. Next thing I want to talk about is game share. Game share is something they showed in the direct as well, where essentially if someone doesn't have the game that you have, you can basically give them the game and you can play with them. They can play with you, and you can do this locally or online, which makes it really cool. So if you're in a local or in person, you can pay like, let me share my game so we can play. So like they say here, Mario Party. You want to play Mario Party with me? No, I don't have it. Oh, that's okay. Boom, we can share games. Done, right? This can be done. Wait, receive. Okay, wait. Yeah, so locally you can share games, right? Receive shared games locally. Share games locally. Right. Yeah. So only the Switch 2 can receive games. But I guess what they never showed is that this Nintendo Switch can actually receive games too. So like, you know, if your friend is on a Switch and you're on a Nintendo and you're on the Switch 2 and you want to share the game, you can essentially do that, which is cool. It's a nice little feature. The Switch, but what I'm assuming is that they can only share games that are compatible with the Switch 1. So if it's a Switch 2 game then upgraded, I don't think you'll be able to play. I don't think it's possible. Yeah, only Nintendo Switch 2 system can share games, but any Nintendo Switch 2 or thing can receive them. Nintendo Switch systems can only receive games that are compatible with Nintendo Switch. So if you have the upgraded version of a original Switch game, they probably will not be able to play, which they are pushing for you to do a lot. You can share the fun during game chat as well. So this is on online portion. So you can share games and receive games if you're playing online. However, this does not exist for Switch 1. You can only receive games for free to play with them, to play when you're locally with them, if they're in the same room with you. If they're not, you can't get it, which is honestly hilarious. And it's also hilarious that you have to pay for game chat. You have to pay for this. It's not coming with the Switch, you have to pay. And the thing about this, why I think this is bad and why this is a bad thing, because it's good that you're able to do this. The bad thing is that they're going to only limit to you to certain games that they want you to game share. For example, not every multiplayer game is going to be on this thing. Like, as you see, this is Mario 3D World. This game came out a very long time ago, right? That game, it has no future updates and no future changes. And so of course, they'll give that to you. Any game that they want you to have, they're going to nitpick. So this is not going to work for every single thing. So don't assume, oh, I have Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart World Tour, yeah, I'm going to be able to play this with them and my friends and share it even if they don't have the game. No, they are not going to do that. They're making you pay $80. There is no way in hell they're making you game share this game. Any of their primetime games for the Switch 2, they're not letting you do. So just keep that in mind. That's why, again, bare minimum and minimum requirements. They're gonna do as little as they can and take the longest that they want with adding more games that can be game shared. So it's gonna be a limited amount. So just keep that in mind when you see this feature. It's a cool feature, but grain of salt with Nintendo. That nothing is ever just the way it is. You know what I mean? So what else we need to talk about? We need to talk about the next thing, which is upgrade games. So like the PlayStation's PS5, you know how PS5 has like PS5 versions of certain games? Yeah, so the Switch is doing a similar thing where they are allowing you to upgrade your games. Yeah, where they're allowing you to upgrade your Switch 2 games to your Switch games into the Switch 2 versions. Now, the thing about this is that, you know, they what gets adjusted are the features. So for example, like the features, like upgrade packs, here we go. The features are that obviously you can basically upgrade any game that you may have had on the Switch 1 and play on the Switch 2. Some of them get new features that only exist on the Switch 2. For example, like the mouse, like the fact that the Switch can turn into Switch 2 can have like a mouse little feature, or the fact that you can use C chat or other stuff. There's some small little things that make it better. And of course the upgrade in upscaling of, you know, the quality. So like 4K resolution in, let's say, Breath of the Wild, which honestly, I'm gonna be real, why the fuck are you still playing Breath of the Wild? And why do people care to play this on the Switch 2 when Tears of the Kingdom makes more sense if you hadn't already completed the game? And if you haven't, you're getting into it, and I'm getting into the game realistically, there's no chance I'm going to get it on the Switch 2 and pay money. Because here's the thing, you have to pay for these things, right? So here's the thing with this as well. You have to pay money to upgrade these games, just normally to buy the version, right? But if you have the let's actually explain this here. It has an explanation here. It says, how do you purchase Nintendo Switch 2 version of a game? Because only some games will have Nintendo Switch version, right? You just have to shop for Nintendo Switch version. Yeah, you just have to get the Nintendo Switch 2 version by purchasing it online or in the store. Like, it'll have it, you'll know it's the Switch 2 version. Just like the PS5 version, I guess, kind of, when you download COD games. Now, you pay for that, you pay whatever price they make you pay for, right? Now, if you already have the game, surely you'd think, okay, maybe I can get this for free. No, you are just like anybody else. You need to pay money. You still need to pay money to upgrade to the game, even if you already own the game. I don't know from what they said if it's on a discount or what, because it just says if you already have the Nintendo Switch version of the game in either physical or digital form, you can upgrade to the Switch 2 edition by purchasing the game's upgrade pack. So I'm assuming the upgrade pack is clearly going to be cheaper than buying the whole game again, of the Switch 2 version's game, right? If you didn't, or if you didn't own the original game. This makes me cry because it says it only includes the upgrades and enhancements and additional purchase. So you gotta spend money again to upgrade it to this version. And Mario Party, this one here, like, is a good addition to the upgrade, right? This one actually gives you a whole new game mode and new features that you can use with the game. Jamboree, which looked really cool, right? Jamboree TV is cool and all, but you can't play that unless you have the camera, which again is $50. This is flipping hilarious. So that's one of the things that changes, and that seems like it's a more worthwhile upgrade thing, but not every game has an additional upgrade, like a beneficial upgrade for you to pay for. For example, Breath of the Wild, all you get is improved frame rate, faster load times, which is normal, and HDR support, the bare minimum in upgrades, right? You also get Zelda notes, which is game specific for helping you find the route. And I'm gonna be honest, you can look at YouTube for that. And the thing is, you have to use that via the app, which means it's an external source. It's not even in the game you're playing. You have to go out your way to find that, right? Horrible, horrible, horrible. And the same thing for Tears of the Kingdom. Nothing changes outside of that. That's the bare minimum, and you've got to pay to upgrade it. At least with this one, this Kirby one, the Star-Crossed World, you get a new story, which would make more sense. The most development, the best one for the upgrade pack, which actually makes sense for you to pay for, is the Mario Party Jamboree one. But everything else, look how many differences it has. But every difference in the other ones are so minuscule. They are so minuscule. Pokemon Legends literally has one thing: improve higher rate and resolution. That's a new game, by the way. Literally, that's it. And there's probably gonna be more games to come out on this thing, but come on, they're just robbing you blind for a new resolution, and it's just pure. Ugh. I think I'm done talking about this, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like, the purchase and upgrade pack, and it's the same. Here's the thing you got to talk about as well. It's the same fucking layout. It's the same layout as the Switch before, which is sometimes okay because it's simple. It's simple. Sometimes it's best. But come on. And another thing, again, why is Breath of the Wild not a free upgrade? Who is playing this game now? That's all I have to say. Yeah, that is, what do you call it? And I think I have one more grievance with what they showed. Probably two more, actually. Hey guys, what was before a time skip? Future Wills, really. There's something that update I wanted to talk about. First and foremost, with the Nintendo Switch game upgrades, there's a bit more clarity now than there was when I recorded that video. Obviously, we were under the impression that all games were going to be you have to pay for, but this isn't the case. Some upgrades will be free, and from what I can see, the only way they will be free is that if you have Nintendo Switch Online, plus the expansion pack members can download selected upgrade packs at no additional cost. So basically, if you pay for the big jumbo pack that gives you Nintendo Switch Online for a year, and then all the you can't see it here, all the GameCube stuff, right? The GameCube stuff and the physical emulators, digital emulators, yeah? Then some of these things will be upgradable. Also, what I have learned from some of this is that the prices for each upgrade pack will be different. For example, supposedly, and I may be wrong about this, Breath of the Wild and the other Zelda game will be $10 upgrade plus, whereas others may be 20. Which honestly, I wish I can find it, but yeah. Also, another thing as well is that if you do upgrade to the Switch 2's version, you can still technically play it on the Switch. It's just that it won't have the other features that you wanted. So essentially, you're playing the same game, but just without the features because you're on the more feeble console in essence. But yeah, I think it's crazy that you have to pay for a package, and the only thing that stops you from not paying for the upgrade pack is if you've already spent too much money on the membership, which by the way is £60, but who knows how much that's going to be when that comes out. They might bump the price on that too. So yeah, £60 basically for the online pack member stuff, right? And that's the only way you can get it for free. And even then, that's not to say that the one that you need to be free is going to be free. It just means that you'll get one for free. There's no option. You don't get option. You get the bare bones minimum. They put it on a plate and you eat because you like it. Anyway, that's it from Future Me. Gone. As you can see, with the Switch stuff, right? There is another thing that happened to be out with this. the Nintendo Switch Online. They have now changed this, and now you can buy Nintendo classics. They finally have expanded and added the GameCube, which honestly should have already been in the first one, but I guess they were holding on to it. Anyway, this comes with a couple games.
Soul Calibur 2.
They show you 3 games on this.
Experience a world of white knuckle racing
F-Zero,
at speeds over
Link,
2,000 kilometers per hour.
F-Zero, Zelda, Soul
All on the
Calibur.
line in death-defying
Yeah,
racing.
they showed you 3 games, and they tell you all these other games that are gonna come out and be added. But if it's anything, oh, Pokemon Colosseum, I didn't even see that. Banger. If it's anything like the previous games, like if it's anything like their previous like online stuff with this, the classics, they're going to take months before they give you a new game. You would have thought they didn't own it, and you would have thought they're upscaling it. They're not doing any of that. But anyway, bare minimum, they'll post the least amount of games that they can possibly add and show you, and you're just going to have to sit there and hold that. What else is there? I just, you know, with this, I could be wrong. They could update like manually, but after having a Switch and having that membership for at least what, a year, 2 years, I barely got anything I wanted to play on this, and it barely got updated. Like at this point, I just waited for it to I was waiting for it to stop power before I started checking stuff. So like I don't have high hopes for that. So yeah. The last thing which I think I have a grievance with, which it will be quick, is, which I think I've lost. What was I thinking? This welcome tour is essentially like the PlayStation Playroom.
Hello.
This is the PlayStation Playroom's version of when they showed the demo of their game. As you can see,
everyone, join me inside the game. There are a lot of question mark icons here. Let's examine them. This sign reads, "Where are the magnets?" The Joy-Con 2 controllers attach to the system with magnets, and those magnets are inside the system. The SL and SR buttons on the Joy-Con 2 are made of metal, so that's how they attach to the system.
Okay, so you can kind of see via lagging, it looks horrible. As you can see, there's a bit of mini games and facts about, you know, the Switch and how it's made, and you know what the components are. You know, the same thing Playroom did for PlayStation, where they revealed the PS5 and they gave you it for free and let you try this, right? Here is the thing about this. This is the thing that kills me when I was watching this. Here's what they
Switch
say.
2 Welcome Tour will launch as a paid digital game on the same day as Nintendo Switch 2.
Did you hear that? They said it's a paid game. Who in their right mind is paying for a tutorial on your game? Who is paying like money for learning about the Switch? Why are you going to charge people for learning how your Switch works? For learning the components of the Switch? Why? Who is in their right mind? Why would you cost this? Why would this charge? PlayStation did this and made it free so you can preview and understand the systems of the console. You can understand the system, understand what makes it so good, or you know what their selling points are by playing interactive games, mini games and stuff like that. For PlayStation, it worked out and they managed to make a whole game from it. I think Astrobot, based off of what they showed in that demo, because they realized they can make something from this, and they did, rightfully so. But the first thing initially was free because it's a demo to show what the PlayStation is like. This is the same thing essentially, but you're charging. Why? Honestly, it doesn't make any sense to me. And the most greediest thing here, which I feel like is normal for companies because you want to do this, because PlayStation do this all the time. Sony do this all the time. Dustbloods. Dustbloods is a game that's purely just a Dark Souls game, but it's purely only exclusively for the Switch. And I have no complaints about it only being for the Switch. I kind of think it's crazy that this game is only on the Switch. I just hope it looks good. Yeah, just kind of think it's crazy that they bought it out. And it makes sense because they want to grab people. It's like the only thing that will gravitate people to getting onto the Switch 2. And here's the thing, there's only 3 games that most people would want to play. Mario Kart is one game that everyone will want to play. DK is subjective, very subjective platformer, right? Metroid, subjective. This is ridiculous. And then Dustbloods is going to attract all the Souls players, right? Everything else is a maybe kind of game. They're only releasing this console with 3 new games, and only one of them is exclusive to the Switch 2. I don't care about this. And I'm going to charge full price for that. And the funny thing about this, about all of these games, they're going to charge you full price. And if Mario Kart is $80, just imagine what everything else is going to be, including the upgrade versions. And again, a bunch of this, the direct was just showing you, hey, we have games that other consoles have, but we finally put it on here because we finally have the storage. And that's cool. But the whole direct was basically saying we can run the games that every other console can run, but we're going to charge you full price for the Switch that is keeping up with previous gen. There's just so many things I gotta think about. Anyway, I'm done. This is my little rant about Nintendo. But here's the thing. You're gonna buy the console. I'm gonna tell you why. Nintendo do things that other companies can't, unfortunately. Like the party games. Your party games are not existing on console. They're always on the Switch, right? Nintendo is the only portable thing outside of the actual, you know, Steam Deck. They're the only portable console that you can play anywhere and bring anywhere and play certain games that you can get people with. Whether you have the money to get it, I don't know, but someone's going to see that and get their licking and buy it. The reason that this kind of stuff works, doing all this high price bare minimum shit, is because someone buys it. Because at the end of the day, I can have an opinion and say I don't like this, but to the company, people lie, numbers don't. So I can be saying all this stuff and I may end up buying one in the future, and that's all they care about, the money. You can tell from everything, from the accessories to all the stuff. Their game chat doesn't even look built properly yet, but hey, this is me. The Switch is going to succeed. The people are gonna buy it. It's an outroar now, but people are gonna buy it, and those games are never gonna just go down in price, which is like enough to accept with Nintendo. They don't care. They don't care. Like, they act like they're Sony, but they're not. And even Sony doesn't do that kind of shit. So yeah, I'm done. What do you guys think about Nintendo Direct? Are you gonna get a Switch? I probably might get a Switch in the future. The game looks cool, but the price that they're asking for is ridiculous. Anyway, back to Tekken. Bye.